Hey, it's SJ, and in this video, we're going to go through the pen tool and learn about paths. But I thought before we get into that, I just wanted to mention that I am using a graphics tablet. I think it's a lot easier than using a mouse. You can use a mouse if that's all you have, but I would really suggest looking at getting one. I'm using an older Wacom Intuos. I think it's like an Intuos 4 or 5 that I maybe have. Now they have just like these Intuos Pros that you can see here. But there's also this brand, which is quite a bit less expensive than a Wacom, called Huion. And they make pretty great tablets. I've used one before. I think I'm just more familiar with Wacom, so it felt a little bit different for me, but they are still really great products. So I would check either one of those out if you're interested in getting a tablet, but that's just to let you know that's what I'm using. So anyways, back to our drawing. So this is a sketch that I've just pulled in. You can do your sketches within Photoshop, but I just thought for the purposes I'd just like bring in a sketch that I had done on paper. And we're going to learn about our pen tool here. So it's a lot like the pen tool that you would see in Illustrator, but the difference is you're not creating vector lines. You're just creating kind of a way to make cleaner lines rather than using the brush to draw. So over here where I mentioned before you have your layers panel, you're also going to see something called paths. And these are going to end up looking a lot like your layers, but they act a little differently. Once I'm done creating my path, I'll show you kind of the different things that you can do with it. But for now, it's just a matter of I'm going to just create my outline. So if yours was like mine, so make sure you're not on your freeform pen tool and you're just on your pen tool. So this is when we're going to use our direct selection tool. It helps you select different points. So that's different than our move tool, which is just kind of a regular arrow. That won't help you move points. You have to be on your direct selection tool, which is pushing A. So you'll see I pushed A. If you saw me kind of moving around on the page, I forgot to mention, so I push the space bar and I get this hand tool. And then to zoom in, I push Command plus and Command minus. So we have our two paths set up, and I've just double clicked on each of these path layers so that they're just a little bit more organized. I've actually gone ahead and, even though we haven't specifically talked about the layers menu yet, I just need to add another layer so that I'm not messing up my sketch when I start adding colors from my paths. So I have these two paths, and you'll notice within the neck there's actually two spots that have holes in them, so like right here and right here specifically. So we can change the way that the path interacts with each, like with the sections with holes, by just coming up here, and we can either have it all filled in, we can exclude overlapping shapes, just different ways that we can have them interact with each other. I want it to exclude overlapping shapes so that the colors don't fill in those specific holes. So I'm going to keep that selected. I've got my bone color selected. I'm going to click on the neck, and then I'm going to use this full color circle at the bottom here and click that, and then that's going to create my fill. And I am going to do the same thing for the head layer. If we use this open circle, that's going to create an outline, and for that you're going to need to have selected a specific brush that will be your stroke. So it's a lot different than creating vector lines, because you can modify them after. Whereas once you've kind of made your stroke, you would have to undo it and redo it in order to get a different stroke. I hope this has been helpful in showing you some tips and tricks when working with the pen tool and the paths panel. In the next video, I'm going to be going over the layers panel and show you how to stay organized when you're working with other illustrators or even just by yourself. For more tips and tricks and to connect with the Biocomm Hive community, please check out the Facebook group. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to follow Create to Learn on Instagram and #CreateToLearn for more tutorials.